Hey everybody, this is Brett for TopoRanger. Happy New Year. It's 2020. I really can't believe it. It sounds so futuristic. Today I am here at Chickies Rock County Park in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And right now I'm standing in the old sluiceway, or maybe that could be the tail race, I'm not quite sure, of an old timber mill. They used to sit on this site from about 1842, mid 1800s to I guess 1942. They dammed up the creek just to the south of here. Water would come rushing through here, and the mill is basically right there. And what they did was back in the the 1800s, probably even into the early 20th century, they would log white pine trees up in the more northern parts of the Susquehanna, and they would create these enormous, sometimes 200 foot long rafts out of white pine, basically tied together. And then there would be a crew, and they would live on this raft as they just kind of floated it downriver. And I think these journeys took weeks. It was a whole culture of timber rafts. And once they got down here, what they would do is they would dismantle the rafts. And here's some cool. I think I posted a picture of this earlier. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is, but it's got some interbedded shell. Anyway, they would disassemble these rafts and sell them to the mills, like the one here, which was called High Stand Mill. And then the mills would use the power of the water, in this case, Chickies Creek. Would come by here, flow by here, out there, and they would use the water power to cut up these huge white pine logs. And then they would sell them to companies that were making masts for sailing ships. I guess the little info kiosk said in Baltimore and Philadelphia, where they built these sailing ships. I guess, I'm not sure why, but for whatever reason, the white pine was the best kind of wood to construct the masts out of. Okay. Hey, look at this. It's like a polypore, some type of polypore mushroom here. That's pretty hard. There's some little baby ones growing down here. This one just like underneath. I mean, look at the belly of this tree here. See that? Now here's part of the old mill here. It's a massive concrete installation. Now here's the old dam. This was put in place let me get a better shot. Started right there from that level, went the whole way across right over to there. See here? This dam was built 1902. And here you can see the kind of aggregate that they were using back then to create this. It's thick. I mean, look at that thing. It's about probably 3 feet thick, 3.5 feet thick, 15 feet high. I mean, look at that aggregate. This is solid stuff. This rock looks like dolomite or limestone. This rock probably came from right up the river in Billmeyer. And here's the Chickies Creek, Chickies, whatever. That's the confluence with the river right down there. And you can see the dam right here. It ran right across here. 2015, they came in here with a bulldozer with a big jackhammer attachment, and just demolished this sucker. And then looks like they put some rocks right here to kind of divert the stream up and over here. Now this wall here, this masonry is original,
And then right over there, you can kind of see some of the ruins of the mill, the boulders. We're going to go over there next. So this is what the dam looked like before. And here's a picture. 2015, they came in with one of these attachments. Jackhammered this thing out. And these are some old pictures. And here's a layout. There's the mill. There's the water. Here's when originally when they built the dam in 1902. All right, so here's the tunnel. That's the tunnel where I started the video. Water would come out here. The mill was right up here, and then it would rejoin the creek right over here. I remember coming here. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I guess it was, well, it's 2020 now, so it was at least 5-6 years ago coming here, and the water was still coming through here, and it was pretty cool. And I found this. Now I've never seen this before. It just looks like some type of bridge. This whole area, from Columbia up to Marietta, so in between the towns of Lancaster County, Marietta, and Columbia on the east side of the Susquehanna, from the early 1800s to right up until the mid-century, last century, was just a lot of industry. There were lime kilns, quarries, iron works. I think there were as many as 8 different iron companies in this area pumping out pig iron. The high stand was a timber mill. So there are ruins all up and down this floodplain, because in between Marietta, let's go over here, in between Marietta and Columbia, it's essentially one giant floodplain of the Susquehanna River. All right, I got some more ruins here. And again, I've been here probably, a half a dozen times, even in the last couple of years. And a lot of this stuff, it's just hidden in the woods during other parts of the year when the leaves are out. You can walk right by and just miss all this stuff. So that's why it's good to come here in the winter when the leaves are done. I'm not sure what this is. You can see the kind of the aggregate they use to make these things. I don't know if this is associated with the timber mill. And then over here is another tunnel. Maybe there used to be vehicles going over here. Oh yeah, it's kind of low and wide. Some hikers over there. The river is backing up in here a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Main current, Chickies Creek's coming right there. Chair. And what you get here a lot, because this area was so active industrially, is you get a lot of this, which I'm pretty sure is slag. It's got kind of a spongy, almost like what I would call a lunar. It just reminds me of something you might find on the moon, but it's not. It's just slag. Let's see if we can bust it. Try it again. Bust it right on the edge there. That's pretty tough. And these are just little air pockets. And I think the slag, if I'm correct, the slag is the stuff that is the impurities that they, in the process, they pull off, I guess, the top of the molten iron. And you can find just piles and piles and piles, tons of this stuff in various mounds all over the place here along the river. There's a drone. See it right there? It's very quiet. Now, whose is that? Oh, it's his. Now these will look like railroad ties fused together with these iron rods. This might actually be part of the old dam. The original dam that was here in the mid 1800s was built of wood. So it's possible that this thing here is part of that original wood dam. Now right here, usually the water is clearer here. Today the water is a little bit high, but you can clearly see the outcropping bedding. I think this is Beekman Town, called the Beekman Town Dolomite. Sorry, Beekman Town Limestone. Get a good shot of it right there. So we're on limestone here, but the stuff they used to build the dam here, in here you can really see the ruins right here. This is a good shot. This is a new pedestrian bridge. This was put in not that long ago. So we're here by the part of the ruins of the old Highstead timber mill, and again, as you can see, more of this slag. I mean, it's just everywhere. But what I wanted to point out here was that when they built this stuff, they used, might be a little contrasty, they used a variety of stones here. I can't tell what this is. This looks like possibly some limestone. This looks like sandstone. And then up here you got clearly this blue here. This is either dolomite or limestone. So you got 1, 2, 3. I mean, you got 3 or 4 different kinds of rocks here. Now this will show you kind of what we're used to seeing. We're always used to seeing this side of the equation, right? Which is kind of the finished, the finished product. And again, here the water used to come roaring right out of here. This is the finished, the facade, I guess is what you would call it. It's still kind of rough cut, but it's the finished side of it. But right here, you can actually see what the inside of these walls were made of. Okay, so you got the exterior wall, and then over here, so you got another exterior wall or interior wall, and then on the inside, all this stuff, right? And really what they did was they just, I mean, there are some big blocks in here, but a lot of it's just stuff they just threw in. You know, look up there. You can see it's just stuff they just threw a bunch of rocks in as they were building, probably as they were building up. And here you can see, I guess what you might consider to be chisel marks. You know? So if this was built, if this mill was built, here, look, you can see them. There. If this mill was built in mid 1800s, I mean, I don't know if those chisel marks would have been done by hand. Alright, so we are now on the railroad bridge, and I'm going to keep walking. Right up there is that's the pedestrian bridge in Chickies Rock County Park. It's set into Marietta and Columbia, Pennsylvania here on that's the river right there, that hump right there, those are the Hellam Hills. That's upriver, that's downriver. Right there off in the distance is Chickies Rock. And the dam, or the mill that we were just exploring, the remnants of the old mill, are right up there. But what I'm going to do now is there's the creek. I don't want to drop my camera in there. Now there's a cool tunnel up here, just a little ways, and it's not very big, and I'm not exactly sure what it was for, but it's before you even hit Chickies Rock. So we're gonna go there now and see if we can't get into that, and maybe even crawl through it and see if we can't find anything cool inside. All right, let's check it out. Here we are in this little tunnel that goes under the river trail. I'm not sure what's happened here. One of these giant, one of the masonry blocks just slid out over time. It's just hanging. Now here's the tunnel. And what is interesting about this tunnel is the ceiling. It's not a very wide tunnel. I'd say it's probably 3.5, 4 feet wide, maybe. But the ceiling is composed entirely of these huge slabs of rock. You know, there's no cement, there's no concrete, there's no rebar. As you go along, you can see it right up in there. There's a space right here, and there's some leakage, but I mean, just these slabs, and they're spanning the whole tunnel ceiling. So they probably extend at least a couple feet either way on either side. But I would think that would tend to denote that this tunnel is very old, maybe mid 1800s. But I'm not really sure. I'm not an expert on the construction. But you know, as soon as they could use concrete and all that stuff to do the ceilings, they would have, because it would have been a lot cheaper, a lot more, probably a lot easier to do. We're on the other side of the trail here, and here you can see these big slabs. They go into the masonry wall there and there. This is mortar, and it looks like they were too thick. There was 2 layers of these suckers just for added strength. Alright, so here's the thing. I actually never even knew this tunnel was here before. Like I said, you come to a place like this, you're always going to find something new, something cool. The tunnel I was actually talking about before we came across this one, I think is just a little bit further down the trail. And I seem to remember it not being quite as big as this one. Not that this one is huge, but I remember it being even smaller, possibly something we might have to crawl through, so we might be able to get some good shots, some interesting shots like that. So here's a little info kiosk. It talks about right here, right in this location here, back in 1833, there was a big mansion. See that right there? Greek Revival mansion, and it was built by this guy who is maybe it was that guy. Samuel Henry Haldeman. He was a big naturalist. Here's a picture. He owned a lot of businesses, and he was a famous naturalist. Here's a picture. There's one of the old lock boats there. The lock was right here, went through here. And here's a picture of one of the old mills. Here's a picture of the Greek Revival mansion as it looked. I guess after a while it got run down. It was built in 1833. By 1911, the once elegant mansion was dilapidated and inhabited by hobos, tramps, and thieves, so it was torn down. So that probably what it looked like as it was being dilapidated. And as you can see, Chickies Rock is looming off here in the distance. The other tunnel I wanted to take you to is right over here. I thought the tunnel was right here. So I found the other tunnel. This one is definitely a little bit more interesting than the other one. So here we are, again, right below the river trail. Chickies Rock is right over here. This was actually the tunnel I was talking about before we found that other one. Again, you can see this really nice masonry with the multiple types of rock. And this one is kind of weird because it's kind of, I don't know, it has an arch ceiling to it. Here's the keystone right here. Now it is kind of filled in, and I'm wondering how much of this fill is original, and if it's just a low tunnel, or maybe, you know, you used to be able to walk into this thing, and it's just been filled in over the ages, so to speak. I'm gonna get my light out. Crud out of here. Now I did look on the other side, and I could not see an entrance. I couldn't see an entrance to this thing on the other side, so I'm thinking that maybe this thing is completely clogged. Golly knows what's going to be in here. Alright, let's take a peek. Oh, just a big wall. Oh, that's weird. Huh. Let's go check it out. Okay, all I'm seeing is a big wall. It's like somebody has blocked this off, but you gotta wonder why. I can't tell if this masonry matches up with the original masonry, and I can't. Let me see if I can see through it. No, I don't see much of anything. Huh. That's really weird. I wonder why this is here. Why would you build a tunnel that doesn't go anywhere? Seems like a lot of work for nothing. This looks like one of the pieces of the wall here, or the arched ceiling, I should say, is limestone, but it has some impurities in it, maybe some sand or shale, and they're kind of weathering. It's kind of weathering out here. Let's get a close-up shot. That's kind of cool. And here's over here, you got a couple little pockets that are worn out. Yeah, I don't know. The original masonry does stop right here, and then it goes into this wall. Not sure why you would, you know, take the time to build this nice arched tube and then just have it end. But I think that it was built to stop right here. So maybe there's something below us, you know? Strange. All right, well, that's too bad. I was looking forward to coming through this, so let's head on out. So what we're looking at right here is called a salamander, or a dead man's foot. And this, from a distance, it looks like a rock, but this is actually a big plug of iron. And this would have been basically right here, straight up above. You would have had the iron furnace, and stuff would have come down, and right at the bottom of the furnace, where they would then the molten pig iron would flow out. I guess that was right here, and over time, underneath the furnace, you got this building up of just an iron. It's like a plug almost, you want to say. It's called a salamander, or dead man's foot in the metallurgical term. The salamander, or dead man's foot. This thing here, according to that little info kiosk over there, weighs 13 tons, or 26,000 pounds, and it's just, I think it's just like solid, or mostly just pig iron, and you can see it kind of has a shape there. Off in the distance is Chickies Rock. Alright guys, well, I'm going to wrap this up for this episode. I thought I was going to get a little bit farther, but there's so much to see here, I could pretty much just edit this down to one episode. Off in the distance there, not very far, you can see Chickies Rock, and there's the main face right there. It's about a 180-foot drop. I think what I'm going to do is maybe our next episode is going to be me climbing up that POV style. Not rock climbing, just finding a bouldering route that's relatively safe, kind of like I did at the pole steeple. All right, but this is going to wrap it up for this episode. So I hope you guys liked it, and make sure you subscribe and click on the bell so you can get notified whenever TopoRanger comes out with a new episode. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good day. This is Brett for TopoRanger, signing out.